are, where you work, and yeah, I think we can start from there.
Yes, William. Briefly, my name, I'm called Price Mwizerwa.
Mm-hmm.
I work with Finchurch Aid, Chaka, as a career
Yes.
counselor, but I'm also a focal person for Complementary Pathways project here in Chaka. So I have some knowledge about the implementation bit of that project that I would be glad and happy to share. And maybe to add, Finchurch is the largest Finnish international organization that has been in operations for over 70 years. And it is operating across the globe in over 12 countries. We deal in three critical areas of peace, education, and livelihood. And education, we look at the easy access, the quality, safe and inclusive education. And then also they have a component of the TVET where we are skilling youth for employment and sustainability. And to peace, we collaborate with other partners to ensure that we able to have our countries safer wherever we operate from. Thank you. That's briefly who I am and where I work from, William.
Thank you so much. Thank you for accepting our invitation. I would like to ask, does Finchurch Aid only works with refugees?
No, we don't work with only refugees, William.
Mm,
Uh, refugees are in host communities. So
yes.
as we do our implementation, we have a percentage
Mm,
where we support nationals and a percentage where we support refugees. So we work in collaboration with the host communities in the areas where we implement our projects. Thank you.
thank you so much. Uh,
Yes.
yes, thank you for the answer. And also going now into our main topic of today, I would like to ask you, what is complementary pathways?
Yeah, briefly, William, thank you very much for that question. Complementary pathways are safe and regulated avenues for refugees for them to be able to relocate to a third country. And a third country would mean a country like the UK, a country like Canada, or maybe a country like Australia and others. Because many countries keep coming on board, and then skilled refugees are able to have opportunities. And complementary pathways is part of the collaboration by the UN agencies to make sure that the refugees are sustainable and they can be able to use their skills for a better future and a better life.
And a better life.
Yes,
So,
and thank you.
thank you so much. So it is, I think, another method, but this time to help skilled refugees to
Yes.
relocate to a third country and to go and work. I would like to know, like, when the process is done and they go there, do they still receive the same protection refugees receive when they relocate using other means like UNHCR means of resettlement? Do they still get that funding, that opportunity to still like be able to have that?
Yes, like the description tried to give, they are safe and regulated. And why these relocations are safe and regulated is that refugees are able to have good protection when they travel into these
Yes.
countries so that they are not challenged in any way.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you. Thank you so much. Now we've known what complementary pathways are or is, and I did ask you about the eligibility. Like, what are the requirements for someone to be considered for that complementary pathway?
Okay, the eligibility, the complementary pathway is for skilled refugees. But maybe before I give you the eligibility, I will try to
Mm.
dive into the different forms of complementary pathways that we are currently
Pathways,
supporting.
yes,
Yes, as
yes,
FCA. Yes, then
yes.
because they have different criteria and different eligibility. One that we are supporting is the family reunification, and
Okay,
for the family reunification, here we are supporting UNHCR to be able to identify the refugees that want to reunite with their relatives in a third country. However, for family reunification to be more concrete is self-initiated. A refugee has a relative in the USA, and then they want to reunite with their relative in the USA. So in that sense, they will be able to approach us, and then we have forms that we fill. Then these forms will deliver them to UNHCR for the rest of the other processes to proceed. Then the other form of complementary pathway are the scholarship uh, that we try to identify with the partners across the globe, and then we encourage the refugees who want to continue with their studies to be able to apply. And these scholarships at the level of either bachelor's or technical diplomas or master's degrees. So several scholarships keep coming, and then we share with the community that we interact with and where we implement in the refugee settlements across Uganda. And one of the briefly the scholarships that just ended is the scholarship for UNICOA, where we supported, and now over 30 refugee applicants were shortlisted, and they will soon, when the process is complete, they will soon be able to travel to different universities in Italy to continue with their master's program. Then lastly, the other form of the complementary pathway bit is the labor mobility. And the labor mobility is supporting skilled now refugees for them to be able to relocate to safer countries where they can be able to practice and sustain their lives. And maybe back to your question on the eligibility for the scholarships, for the education pathways, complementary pathways is if they are saying the scholarship is for a university master's, then you have to have a bachelor's. If it's for a bachelor's, then you have to have a diploma, maybe a diploma d'etat for Congo, or a diploma for a USCE, a Uganda Advanced Certificate of Education for Uganda. And for the rest of the other criteria for the labor mobility, I don't know if we are together, William. For the labor mobility, the criteria is 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 strictly uh, dependent on the skill that you do possess as a refugee. Maybe you're a medical doctor, you have a diploma, you have a bachelor's, you're a nurse. Those are healthcare workers, or you're an ICT personnel, and other various skills that refugees do possess. And here what happens for you to be selected onto this program is for you to approach any offices of FCA in your settlement, in where you stay, and then we'll be able to support you. But most importantly, we get the lists or the people that you qualify for some of these for the labor mobility directive from UNHCR. Because when UNHCR is doing verification, they are able, and OPM, they interact with the refugees, and then refugees are able to air out the different skills that they do possess. So those details, most of the times UNHCR has them in the progress V4, so they share with us. So that is the data that we use for us to be able to proceed with the identification and selection and the other processes that come after for us to be able to support these skilled refugees. So briefly, that's about the criteria and the eligibility. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that answer, a detailed one. Thank
Thank you.
you for that. I have three types of complementary pathways, right? There is one of family reunification. There
Yes.
is the third one was the labor mobility, and then the second one was the scholarship. Yes,
The education complementary pathway.
education complementary pathway. Yes, I have just this one quick question before we take a small break. Is there any like age limit among the criteria? Like you have to be maybe this age to qualify to apply?
Yes, the criteria is a bit detailed, William. I,
Yes.
I I wasn't able to exhaust it and give all the details within the criteria. But for example, different scholarships come with different criteria, and that is dependent on the university. So some could say we need people who have age between maybe 20 to 40, but this is dependent on the university and when they put out the scholarship. So this one cannot be specific that it's going to be between this age or this age. And then for labor mobility, it is up to 50 years of age. So it doesn't go beyond 50 years of age. So a skilled worker who is not above the 50 years of age. Thank you.
Thank you so much. There are two types that are catching my attention. There is the first one of family reunification, and then the third one that is talking about labor mobility. But before, yes, labor mobility. But before we get to that, let me just ask the studio to help us with a small break, and then we shall come back and continue.
Okay, thank you.
Let's Help International is a non-profit organization that advocates for the physical, cognitive, and social development of vulnerable children, youth, and families, as well as orphans, refugees, and other people in need mostly. And our areas of intervention are digital inclusion, livelihood, and protection. Let's Help International has achieved a lot so far as digital inclusion is concerned. And I'd like to tell you some of the achievements that we've done so far as Let's Help International. We have been engaged in ongoing efforts and commitments to promote digital inclusion worldwide. Efforts have been done with our sister agencies, Chakatu.com and RTSW-Refugees TV, in order to connect refugees in the host community to online opportunities. We as Let's Help International, we also had an opportunity, a very wonderful. We as Let's Help International, we also had an opportunity, a very wonderful opportunity that was offered to us by the UNHCR. It organized a digital gender inclusion and innovation bootcamp whereby we learned a lot of things. And we've also engaged and participated in many ICT trainings. And thus far, we have very skilled ICT trainers who can train refugees as well as host community so that they can also be part and parcel of this digital era.
Hello, welcome once again, dear viewers. As you already know, as you know, we are having a discussion about complementary pathways. And in the studio, we were lucky enough to receive a guest from Finchurch Aid to take us through this topic. But before we go there, I would like to remind you to subscribe, to share the channel so that everybody has a chance to follow such insightful, such helpful topics. Coming back to Mr. Price Mizerwa, welcome once again.
Thank
I would
you.
like to ask you did tell us how you collaborate with UNHCR, but there is this talent beyond borders, TBB. I would like to know more about it and how, as Finchurch, you collaborate with it, and mostly in which type of complementary pathway do you collaborate with it?
Yes, thank you very much, William.
Mm.
The labor mobility complementary pathway is a collaboration between UNHCR, Finchurch Aid, and Talent Beyond Boundaries. And Talent Beyond Boundaries, in this case, is the one that sources for the employers. The employers where there were skilled refugees are going to have a decent work when they leave Uganda. And then UNHCR also supports us as the UN agency, coordinating the rest of the other implementing partners in this project. And then the role of FCA in this project of complementary labor mobility pathways is to support the refugees with different forms of advice, and advice in form of career guidance and counseling. And when we look at career guidance and counseling, how to prepare for job interviews, how to make applications, how to prepare for going to work, the leadership and change management, so that you're able to fit into the job. And also, FCA does the selection and identification, because when we receive the list from UNHCR, we are bound now to follow up and identify these people on the lists and talk to them, and then shape them so that they are fit to be able to work in the third country in case they are selected. Then also we go ahead to support them with the rest of the other documentation that might be required for them to be able to travel into those third countries. So we do the identification and selection after receiving the details of the beneficiaries from UNHCR from Progress V4. Then after that, we take them through trainings, the career guidance and counseling sessions. Then we help with the other bit of the documentation, the travel passes and the others. But that is done in collaboration and coordination with UNHCR. As you know, we are implementing on behalf of UNHCR as a UN refugee agency. And then briefly also, the role now of Talent Beyond Boundaries, like I said in the beginning, is to source for employers.
Yeah.
And then these employers, they are the ones that get in touch. They get in touch with the qualifying refugees who are skilled for them to be able to have decent work. It's a collaboration for looking for employers by Talent Beyond Boundaries. Then UNHCR is in the middle as the main coordinating UN agency, and then Finchurch is supporting with the rest of the other activities on ground to make sure that we shape the applicant to the required standards of them be able to work in these international or third countries where they are going to. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for that answer. I would like to know a bit more about the countries. The countries that maybe send a recommendation that we need such people who are skilled in maybe such area, or who have expertise, maybe let me say in nursing, I don't know, technology. Do those third countries that maybe send that list of the people they require?
Thank you, William, for the question. Maybe one of the key issues in this project of complementary pathways, labor
Pathways.
mobility, yes, is that it is employer-led. It is employer-led.
Okay.
So what happens when Talent Beyond Boundaries identifies these employers, and then UNHCR shares with FinChurch the qualifying candidates, and then also we have others that come in. However, those who come in, we take them back to UNHCR for verification so that we don't have wrong people taking advantage of the project. So what happens after that process is that the employers that are sourced by Talent Beyond Boundaries, they get directly in touch with the beneficiaries, the skilled refugees. So we share the details of the people we have identified, the refugees, and then Talent Beyond Boundaries, after identifying the potential employers, they will send the lists to the employers. And it would be at the prerequisite of the employers for them to be able, they check through the CVs, because that is one of the of the trainings we conduct to support the refugees for them to be able to have suitable CVs. So after they have read through the CVs and the CVs are matching the jobs they have at their companies, then they get directly in touch with the candidates. Then the interview process will take place uh, depending on what the employer is looking for, the skills he's looking for, and when finally the qualifying refugee or the people we serve is notified of the intention for him or her to be employed. So yes, at the end of the day, a Talent Beyond Boundaries will be able to share the list and then of those who qualified. But it is strictly employer-led. So even Talent Boundaries, in some instances, it cannot influence this process of the refugee qualifying to go and work in the third country. They are doing our role and we are doing the same role of trying to support to make sure that we shape and have the right employee for these companies.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much. Thank you so much. Uh, as we are proceeding towards the end of this interview, I would like to remind to all of you guys who are viewing or who are watching us on our YouTube channel RTSW. Please, if you have any comment, any suggestion, Mr. Price is here to answer you, so you can ask your questions. And me coming back to Mr. Price Mizerwa, I would like to know, let's say a candidate is already selected. How long does it take for a candidate, like how long the average time that it takes for a candidate to travel to the third country?
Thank you, William. I think briefly, I'm sorry, I would need maybe to explain some steps here so that
Yes.
before I get to how long it will be very clear.
Thank you. You
Yes,
can
thank
proceed.
you. We have a process of identifying and selecting the beneficiaries. We receive the list from UNHCR from the Progress V4. Then there are
Yes.
those that also approach us that have the skills and maybe they did not declare to UNHCR. So after the process of selection, then we create the accounts. that is also one of the other roles that we support in this project with the beneficiaries. We
Yes.
open for them accounts on the Talent Beyond Boundaries
Boundaries.
website, individual. And when after opening, each beneficiary has his own password. So what we proceed after opening the accounts is that we do the trainings for CV writing, application writing, and the general career counseling and the leadership and change management. So after that process, then now and everything is on the website, on the account of each individual, would be qualifying individual. Now the employer, when there are opportunities, then they get in touch with 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 the applicant to try and assess and see the skills that the employer has, that the employee, the person looking for employment has. And
Has,
then
yeah.
after that, the rest of the details, after confirming that this person has gone through, then there will be another process now of trying to work on the documentation, because you need documentation for you to be able to live here and then go to the third country for you to be able to work. But even before that, then we have to prepare you for you to be able to be a good fit, to be ready to travel to a third country and then be ready to reach there and be able to work. So all that process is a bit lengthy. And like I said before, that the process is employer-led. So we have no way we can influence him to be faster until the employer is able to find out what he or she is looking for from the person applying. So it would take a maximum of up to 15 months. It is a bit lengthy, but it is a good opportunity.
So the average time, as you said, the maximum actually is 15 months. So
Yes,
in most
please.
cases, it is always below 15 months.
Yes.
As we are still waiting for the comments and maybe the questions, I would like to ask you. I know maybe you haven't been there. You haven't been there, but people travel, reach the third country, they start working. I think they are treated as nationals in that country. Let me say, reaching there, the person does or maybe doesn't perform to the level at which the organization, the country that requested for him, like they are not satisfied. What do they do? Is there a possibility that the person is brought back or
Thank
he is
you,
trained
William,
more
for
until he reaches?
thank you, William, for that question.
Mm.
It's important also to note, like I said again, I'll repeat it, that the process is employer-led, and the employer is trying to do his best to identify the best candidate to fit or who is suitable for the job. So in this case, when they're able to identify the person who is suitable, and also we have tried to support this candidate for them to be indeed prepared and ready to do the work. There are agreements that happen because the job is official, it's known, it's recognized, it's regulated by the governments where these employers are. So they sign contracts. You don't travel before you sign a contract, and the contract has terms and conditions. So if you do not work according, or maybe something doesn't go well, we are always in touch for us to be able to support. So either we can get in touch, or the person working the other side can get in touch with us, and then we're able to see how to help and support. But the terms of the contract are very clear. If they are telling you you're going to work 2 years, then definitely it's going to be 2 years. If they are telling you you're going to work, unless if it's renewed, they are telling you you're going to work for 3 years, then definitely it's going to be 3 years. So that is the discussion that happens between the beneficiary, this side of our refugee, and then the other side of the employer. And that is a very critical discussion that we encourage the beneficiaries or applicants to take key note, so that in case there is any lack of skills, then skills are obtained every day, then there can be some skill enhancement. And I also know that employers have job development plans for their employees to be able to match the jobs they give them.
So much. Thank you for that answer. As we are winding up this interview, I think we might be having some questions. But before you answer, you can just like, do you have any last comment, like something to add to this already
Yes.
discussion? Do you have anything to add or to tell
Yes,
to
William. Yes, William. I have something. I'll
our
read it from
fellow
here.
refugees and our viewers?
Yes, please. I want to. There are some of the key issues that our beneficiaries should be able to note as they take part in this project. And one of them is that the process is employer-led. As FCA, as UNHCR, and as Talent Beyond Boundaries, I don't want to commit to be speaking on behalf of UNHCR or Talent Beyond Boundaries, but these details, we picked them from Talent Beyond Boundaries, and the key issues we should note: the employers make decisions based on skills and not vulnerability. That you could be vulnerable, but then you're not able to be taken to the third country because you do not have the skills that match the job that is available. So in this case, we encourage the refugees that we live with and socialize with to try and see how they will be able to acquire more skills so that they can be able to be sustainable. And then when in the future there are other opportunities, then they will be able to take up these opportunities. The other one is that this process is not linear. So that I'm going to be brief.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not straightforward. So, like I said, there are very many steps and there are no guarantees. Employers make all the hiring decisions. UNHCR, FCA, and TBB role is to facilitate this process. And then the second last is that professional skills here matter a lot. That's why we come in with the career guidance sessions, CV preparations, and other processes for us to be able to support the candidate. And then lastly, the process is very competitive. So candidates have to put in their effort for them to be able to get this opportunity. So, like I said, it's not based on vulnerability that you're more vulnerable, so you're likely to be more selected than the other. No, it's going to be based, and it's being based on the skills that you possess. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that answer. Thank you for that. Dear viewers, I think you've not only listened but you've watched Mr. Price Mwizera explain about complementary pathways. I know like sometimes during the year uh, there is this workshop that happens, I think, in Sueso, where people are gathered, and I think that's when the selection are happening, isn't it, Mr. Mizera? Yeah. So,
Beg your pardon again. Sorry, William.
mm,
Just repeat the question again,
like
so
I
that it
was
is more
saying,
clear.
there is that vocational school in Sueso. I think I had, was it 2 months ago? That's when I think some maybe selection were being conducted. Among people, we saw people going there and being interviewed. I think that was part of the selection criteria, right?
Yes, William. One of our other
Right.
roles is to create awareness and then have outreaches. So that's what was happening at Source of Vocation Training
Outreaches,
Center.
yeah.
We are training and trying to introduce the project to some of the
Yes.
new beneficiaries.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So, thank you so much. I think We might be having some comments. If we are having some comments, the people in the studio can help and show us the comments so that Mr. Price Muizera can be able to see them, and if there are questions to be able to answer them. Do we have some questions in the studio so that we can be able? Uh, and I think as we are waiting for the comments to come back, I would like to remind you still to follow our channel. There is a comment that came. Are you seeing it, Mr. Price Muizera?
Yes, I'm seeing it. Thank
It's
you. For me, I'm glad to get the information. I'd like to ask, how do you collaborate with local talent in the settlement? Yes, William, briefly to respond to this participant in today's online discussion
Biggie
is that we
Shalom.
have, yes, William.
Yes, I was just reminding you that the question came from Biggie Shalom. You can proceed.
Thank you very much. We have various other interventions in the settlements we work in across the country that target different refugees, different skilled refugees. Like I began with, the education that we do is to look at access, the quality, the safe, and inclusiveness. So in some of our schools, we promote talent development and management, but also to add in the complementary pathways project,
Pathways.
we, yes, the scholarship bit, the education complementary pathway, we currently, and I believe in future there will be more scholarships. We have a sports corridor scholarship. It's currently running. So we're encouraging refugees. Sorry for using your platform to make this advert, but for the
No,
benefit
yes, you
of
can.
fisheries.
Of the
Yes. So this
refugees, yes.
corridor in Italy is looking at refugees with sports skills, and they can be able to apply, and then they go to Italy for further professional development. But however, for you to be able to qualify for this, you need to be having a diploma, data from Congo, or you have a USE certificate from Uganda. And then what you will do, and then you have a talent, like she was asking, that you possess in any sport. So you can visit any of our offices across Uganda, and then we'll be able to support you. But talent development is a part of our inclusiveness in the education that we are implementing currently across Uganda.
Thank you so much. We have this next question from Gilbert Mulumba Lavoisier. He's saying, it is so interesting. Tell us much about TBB, Talent Beyond Boundaries. Who is eligible? Some refugees run without their academic documents. Which advocacy do you do for them, or how can they be beneficiaries to this opportunity?
Thank you, William. From the beginning, I said that the beneficiaries will receive them from UNHCR, from the Progress V4, and
Yes.
if this participant is listening to me, is that when refugees are doing verification, some of these questions come up. So these questions are not just coming up for the sake of, but they are for future engagements. So people who came as doctors during verification, they share that they are doctors. Those who came as nurses, they share their nurses, uh, and several other qualifications. So UNHCR gives us that list. But apart from that, the advocacy we do is that we have outreaches. We have outreaches. We have our support team from Kampala. They were not able to join us. We have a project coordinator they move across all settlements, trying to create awareness and invite people, talk to them, and try to tell them how to benefit from these opportunities. But also, like you said before, is that we have platforms, for example, in Chaka, like the
Yes.
WhatsApp for Chaka to refugee settlement, and we normally share these opportunities. And we encourage refugees who are on these platforms to share with the rest of the colleagues when they see this information on the platform. And then for refugees who did not come with their documents, they should be, and I believe there is a way how we can coordinate with the ministries back in Congo to be able to come to confirm if this person finished diploma data or if they finished their bachelor's. Yes, so you can
Uh,
always approach us in case you have this challenge, and then we see how we'll be able to support you.
yes. Uh,
Mm.
um, uh, there is another comment. It comes from Classic Empire TV. If someone needs to get further information, is he, she will come to you? Where can someone find you?
Yes, it is very fine. We are here to serve our people, the people of concern, the refugees. And like I said from my introduction, the focal person for Chaka, but any colleague within Chaka FCA office, when you get in touch with them, they will be able to relay the information and then we'll be able to support you. But in case you need to come physically, you're still welcome. We'll be glad to have you and share with you. But across our settlements, we have offices. Yes. So you can get to our offices and then you'll be able to ask for more information about this project and other projects that we are currently implementing.
Uh, do we have any more comments? I think we might be done with the comments. Yeah, we are done with the comments. So I really thank you so much for accepting our invitation. This was quite an insightful discussion. And I think people who are watching us, people are going to watch this, are going to get more information, actually useful information that they didn't know before about complementary pathways, how it works. I think the eligibility, the types of complementary pathways that are there. I think they are going to get more useful information. I think firsthand from Mr. Price Muzerwa here. So, guys
Yes.
who are
Sorry,
following
William.
us,
Sorry, William, for cutting you short. If you'd give me 2 or 1 minute for closing so that I can give the progress where we are.
yes, let me give you 1 minute.
Thank you very much. So far, I have some data I can share here.
Yes.
Under the scholarship education complementary pathways, this year alone, we have been able already to support over 30 people of concern, people we serve, who
Yes.
are going to do their masters in various universities in Italy. And they are working on their final documents for them to be able to start on this new interesting opportunity and career development process.
Wow, that's
Then
wonderful.
under labor mobility, we supported since last year 1,452 candidates were identified, some from UNHCR shared directly, but others are people we interact when we do outreaches. And out of this, we have been able to select those with the requisite documents around 458. And we were able to involve 214 in career guidance and counseling sessions and supported them. And 98, their profiles have been captured in the Talent Beyond Boundaries website. And they have been already been supported with how to do interviews, to prepare for CV writing and presentation, and then also the other interviews that come from the employer. But finally, I want to take the opportunity to thank you for giving me this opportunity, Let's Help International, the people working at Let's Help International, for us to be able to interact and share information with the people we serve. I encourage the people we serve, the refugees, wherever they are, to reach our offices in case they need any other information for them to be able to benefit in various forms of these opportunities that keep coming up. Please don't hesitate. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Muzera. And we hope that next time we call you, you shall again be able to accept our invitation and talk to our followers, talk to the people we all serve, so that they get to know everything that is going on around the camp or around the refugee area. Thank you so much. We really appreciate today's interview, and thank you so much today, Mr. Press.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome back next time.